In this video, I will demonstrate how to use the by reference system to get multiple pieces of information back from the function. We know that functions have a limitation. They can only return one single value back. So what do you do when you need more than one piece of information back from the function? So in that case, sending arguments by reference really helps, right? So in this example, we want the function to tell us the total and the average. Now the function will return the total back, and we will send average by reference and get information from the function through that system, right? So here I'm going to write a little comment here using by reference system to get more information from the function. It's a pound include. So here, what we'll do is we have int total, okay, and we have double average equal to 0. Okay, so what happens is the function will return the total back that we'll put in the variable total, and we'll pass argument average by reference. So whatever changes made to average in the other function will be reflected in the main function. Okay, so we'll make the function call here. We write total equal calc sales, and we pass average as an argument. Average is holding a 0, so we're basically sending a 0 in this situation right now. So as you can see, because the function call is part of a assignment statement that tells us the function calc sales will return a value back that will be assigned to the variable total, right? So then we can display here the total of sales is dollar symbol total, and the average sales amount is dollar symbol average. Okay, and that's all we have here. Then we write the function int calc sales takes one argument, which is double, and this argument is passed by reference, so we must put ampersand before the parameter name. So what this means is that any change we make to AVG in this function, because AVG is local to this function, will also affect the argument average. Okay, so that's how the system works. So here what we'll do is we have int total local to this function 0. Okay, we have sales, and then we have counter to calculate the average also set to 0. Okay, we start a loop here for I equals 0, I is less than. So we have 5 total 5 sales amounts, 5 plus plus. Inside the loop, we ask the user to give the sales amount. So CO sales amount number I plus 1, a little bit of a gap, seen sales. Okay, we put that in, accumulate that in total. Okay, so total inside the loop, average outside the loop. Now outside the loop, we can find the average. We also need to increment the counter, otherwise we will know one able to calculate the average. So we write counter plus plus. Right, so outside the loop, our average is AVG, because we have AVG here, we don't have average here. So AVG equal static cast. Why? Because total and counter are both int. Static cast double total by counter. Okay. Then we return total back to the calling function. So now what's happening here is, let me first prototype, then I'll come back to the function again. So let's prototype this function. Okay. So in this function, we're passing one argument, average, which by the way holds 0 when you pass it, which is passed on the parameter AVG by reference. Since we're passing it by reference, what that tells us is that any change we make to AVG will also be reflected in average, right? The function has a limitation, it can only return one single value back. So it'll be returning total back to the main function. The value of average calculated by the function will be available here, right here. Let me fix that. Will be available here. Why? Because this line will execute after the function call, right? So when this line executes, the control jumps to this function. This function will fully execute, right? We'll calculate value of AVG. Whatever happens to AVG is reflected in average, okay? Then return total, control comes back to this total here, and then comes to the next line. So this is the total, and this is the average. Average will have the same value as AVG. Why? Because we passed by reference. Okay, so let me try and build this program, see how it works. So I'm gonna call this one right here. I'm gonna call this one using byref.cpp. Okay? Using byref.cpp. Okay, so I have missing an I there. Building in. Okay, here we are, right? So the program is now compiling, so we will give the sales amount. I'll use simple numbers, so I got to mental math. So 1,000, 1,000, 3,000, 4,000. Right, so total should be 15,000. So, oops, something is wrong. Total also is 0 and 0. So something is obviously not quite right. So let me check what's going on here. So we're returning total back. Let me check C in sales. Total plus, total plus equals sales. I'm sorry, this is syntax error here. So obviously total is getting nothing, so therefore average is also 0, right? Fix that, try one more time. Okay, let's try here. So we write here sales amount 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. So the total also is 15,000, average is 3,000. Here, this 15,000 was calculated by the function and returned back to the main function. And this 3,000 we got from AVG, which is in the function, other function, not in the main function. But because this AVG has the address of average right here, whatever happens to AVG will be reflected in average. So this is a simple trick by which we can make the function provide us more than one piece of information, even though the function can only return one single value. But by using the reference variables, we can get the functions to do multiple things for us, and we can find out what really happened, right? So this was a simple example of using the byref system to get two pieces of information from the function, total and average.